Hello, everyone. Good afternoon or good morning, wherever you may be. Here with another Roadshow AMA with one of the projects that we have listed on orca.so. Today we'll be speaking to Unique Venture Clubs, a token that listed with us a little while ago, and which has a very interesting ambition in the Solana ecosystem and in DeFi more broadly. We'll be speaking about DAOs, and all manner of other subjects in this roadshow. And I believe I'm joined by Milan today, my fellow Orcadian here at orca.so. Milan, I'll see if I can add you to the space.
Hey, boss. Morning. Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear. Loud and clear. Is it morning over there in New York?
Yes, it is.
Well, I hope you've grabbed some coffee and we can get started. I believe over on the Unique side, do we have Martin there?
Yes, sir. So my name is Martin. I am one of the co-founders and chief of business development operations of Unique. And right next to me is our community manager joining from our second Twitter, which is related to our NFT collection. He will most probably not be speaking, but just in case, he's joining the stage also.
Oh, great.
Thanks for the invitation, guys. We really appreciate that.
No problem at all. No problem at all. Just for anyone who's listening in, who's not familiar with Unique Venture Clubs, could you give us an idea of what the project's all about and what it is that you do there?
Yeah, sure. So Unique Venture Clubs is a, let's say, decentralized platform for secure DAO creation, which will allow people to join or create their own investment clubs. We believe investing and managing assets should become decentralized and community driven at first place. So our mission is to build the infrastructure and the tools to allow people to, pull resources together, pull funds together in a trustless way. This is very short, but I think pretty much explains the whole concept on a high level.
Yeah. Diving like a little deeper into that, when you talk about giving them the infrastructure that allows them to do it in a decentralized way, can you expand on what that infrastructure is?
Yeah, that's a great question. So first, we believe we're utilizing Solana obviously for various reasons. Fast transaction, cheap transaction, secure transaction, and what we want to kind of build on top of is on-chain governance and treasury management, because those are the two key things for any DAO or investment club to exist. So those are the main the core things of the platform, and then we are building tools for each of those core components. So since we are building on top of SPO standard, we'll actually integrate with a lot of protocols and tools that are open sourced and exist out there already, such as Realms and many more.
Right. When you're talking of an investment club, could you give us just an idea of what exactly you mean by that, like with an example or just a hypothetical investment club that might arrive on Unique Venture Clubs and want to set up through there?
Yeah, so obviously we're going to start with, let's say, 3 different verticals. So one of them, it's just any investment club for fungible tokens. It might be like a liquidity pool, farmer or whatever, some DeFi guru who might open a club, and then more people will kind of not follow him in the manner of now like copy trading or strategies kind of copy manner, but they actually will provide this guy a fund so he can operate directly with them, because we believe the social component on top of any club is the essential part and is the key thing. Another good example, it's a gaming guild, for example. If someone it's played, before, like games that are built around guilding systems, so they know if you want to make your guild more powerful, you should let's say donate stuff to the guild's treasury, so the guild can acquire more expensive items or special items in the game, and then the guild becomes more powerful when fighting to a boss or another guild. And this is a piece that is missing right now in the gaming infrastructure, blockchain gaming infrastructure, obviously. So we're going to support all of these games, and we will make sure their guilds are well equipped, and they have a robust way of pulling funds together, right? Because it's not like a digital gold, like in-game currency. It's real money, because here we're talking about a guild, for example, a Star Atlas. A guild should acquire some expensive NFT, which represent a ship or a piece of land in their metaverse or whatever. So when we are talking about real money and this NFT cost $250,000, I mean, there should be a trustless way for those people to invest in this one piece of art, which will be usable in game, and they have like collective ownership, right? Decentralized ownership. Another good example is, for example, the current NFT collectors. As we all know, NFTs are quite illiquid, so this is a good way of those professionals to actually raise extra funds from end users, from their fans, let's say, and they can share the profits after that, after successful purchase and resale of certain NFT. So yeah, a lot of use cases. Even going further, this could be private equity shares, real life physical items, real estate, and whatnot. So we're looking forward to really create those, let's say, investment clubs, as we call them, venture clubs, in more of a DAO style, because we really believe, behind this narrative, actually, this is the kind of the future.
That's very interesting. Just thinking of what you were saying there, where you can get groups of people together who want to buy certain NFTs, for example. It reminds me a little bit from, I guess, the TradFi world with fine art, where you get these syndicates of people who group together in order to purchase one piece of fine art or musical instruments, for that matter, and then they lease them out to popular musicians, and then they earn yield on top of it. And this, of course, it's not exactly the same thing. It's a similar kind of concept. When it comes to specific rules for different clubs, because obviously each one is created for different reasons. They have different objectives, ambitions, and members of the club, I assume, will have different rights. Like, how much flexibility is there when someone wants to start creating a new club?
Yeah, this is a great question. So this is actually why we are calling ourselves Unique, right? And why those clubs are called Unique Venture Clubs, because our end goal is to provide full flexibility there. So we want to tailor, to make sure people can tailor their own specific kind of custom use case, right? Up to their own needs, because this could be just a pure governance, on top of some NFT collection. For example, Monkey DAO, they can say, oh, whoever has the biggest rarity will have more voting power. and we vote on changes or on stuff like this. If they want to add more complexity on top, they can add, the financial part where they have treasury. They can have sub treasuries where they put money together, and they decide where it should be spent and stuff like this. So actually, how we're making this possible and fully flexible, maybe the key, it's to do it in same manner as, let's say, a Discord, where you have kind of creator of the server, and then you give different roles to different person, and each role has its own rules, right? So basically, those rules are also fully flexible, and you can say, if I promote someone to be a consul, he can, let's say, propose, push proposals. If you're a basic user, you can only vote and chat, for example, right? So this is how we're breaking down everything to a components, and you, as founder of this club, you can just pick in the interface, I want this, I want that, I want this, and then those are going to be the rules and the things for my club. Whatsoever, you can change those down the road when you have more people joining you. They can vote on changes, right? Because if they don't like something, they can adjust and say, oh, this rule, we don't like it. We don't want, for example, the fee to be that high, right? If there is a maintenance fee or entrance fee or exit fee or lockup period or any type of your own thing that you initially add, if they're unhappy, they can just remove that by governance. First, it needs to be proposed and stuff like this. And then the most interesting thing is, we don't believe in full democracy, and that's why we also want to make sure our tool is not built in the manner where you need to vote 100% or on some change or whatever. But actually, the club creator will decide how flexible that's to be. For example, he can say, after more than 50% positive votes, this rule will apply, right? Or whatever the case might be.
Right. It's a pragmatic approach to it, rather than being very sort of ideologically bound to it must be all or nothing, I guess. On that note, I mean, this is just that comes to mind. But when you're talking about rules like that, where from the very outset, if for a change to take place, there needs to be X percentage. So let's say 50%. Do we not encounter a problem where at some point somebody votes with greater, there's a greater than 50% vote for that rule itself to be changed and to make it say only 20%? Is there any way around that?
Yeah. So again, those are pretty complex, topics, and our approach, giving full flexibility, it's maybe the best way to leave, to the people to figure out what they want to do, because we believe all DAOs are in phase of experimenting right now, and no one can really say which is the best approach, or what the case might be. So actually, speaking about governance and speaking about those rules, how they could be changed, we since you have different options on first choosing what the governance model is, right? So it could be like based on NFT that you have. So this NFT, it might give you just one vote or more voting power if it's more rare, for example. Or you can have internal tokens that are non-transferable. They're just like a club tokens. Or you can have existing token that is tradable. And for example, you bring someone decide to open Orca DAO or Orca Club in in our platform, and he can say whoever has more than 5,000 Orca can join my club, and for example, those 5,000 will give him 5,000 votes or whatever, right? And we decide on some stuff. For example, if we pull funds together to farm, right? Which will be the next pool, where we're going to drain the liquidity from that pool, and so on and so on. So if that answers your question, it's very optional.
Yep. Yeah. Sorry about that question, Martin. That was a bit of a curveball. I think looking at DAOs, I agree 100% where when you mentioned that this is still a very new space, and as a result, the basic rules haven't been figured out. What works really well hasn't really been figured out yet. Still very much in, I guess, in a very long beta period for what the optimal form of a DAO is, and indeed whether or not there is an optimal form, and whether or not it really is case by case. Some rules, some systems work for different projects, different organizations, and others work for other ones. As you're so close to the DAO space, the DAO, the DAO market, I guess, as it were, could you tell us anything that you think is commonly misunderstood about DAOs? Because they are a very hot topic. We have seen so many different iterations of DAOs and new launches of DAOs, and of course with initial DAO offerings. Do you think could you say from your own experience what you think a lot of people don't understand about DAOs, or things that are commonly misunderstood?
Yeah, you're completely right here. So when people mention DAO, and when they see something has a DAO, they think 100 different things, and I believe full-blown DAOs doesn't exist yet. This might be a very controversial point, but since we're in this phase of still discovering and experimenting, there are a lot of different type of DAOs. There protocol DAOs, investment DAOs, simply collector DAOs, even DAOs that are just they for example, they structure their company as a DAO, right? Because instead they say, oh, let's open a company. They say, let's open a DAO. So it means that there are, a few co-founders there, and they just want to have like a multi-signature wallet, so they can kind of control their funds in more trustless manner. This is our case as well. We have 4 co-founders, and we're in different countries and stuff like this. So this really helps us actually to manage without any stress, without need to trust each other even, right?
Right.
And we think this is a great, and this is the future, where basically everything will be we'll call everything DAO, right? Because it doesn't need to be very complex to call something a DAO, to be honest. All you need is the right to vote, and the right just to make decisions. This is what makes a group of people being a DAO, right? Now we are kind of building a tool which is mostly for the next phase, where the DAOs actually will realize a full democracy doesn't work, because everyone's initial thought is, oh, I will join the DAO and my vote is super important. I will make decisions. You feel special. It's like joining another Facebook group. For example, you're a fan of Mercedes-Benz or whatever, you join this group, but then you have some power, to make decisions and stuff like this, which makes it even cooler, right? And this is your initial thought. But when you join one DAO or even more than one, then you quickly realize if you don't get rewarded, or if you're not really passionate about it, you're not going to be incentivized to keep doing this for really long time. So actually, we have one kind of very good thoughts, and we're building our whole platform on top of those thoughts. And this is like a research that has been done, a few years ago. So it says like that, in like between any group of like people, in some in a isolated case, for example, colleagues or a DAO, or just any group of people that have or for example, golf club, right? I participate in this golf club or wherever.
Right.
So 1% of the people will be leaders, and most likely this is going to be just one guy or maximum two. 9% of the people will be active contributors, which means they will also work, they will also put efforts to support these leaders or leader. And 90% will be just passive users. And this is the case. We spoke to, a lot of DAOs, believe me, a lot of DAOs out there, and they're facing this problem already in, their 1, 2, 3 months of existence. And they see that they expected everyone to vote on everything. But after 1 month, its activity, it's dropping significantly. And actually users, what they want, end users, basic users, they want to be in multiple DAOs. Because if you open Orca DAO, and you're the leader, you don't have the time and the energy to open a second DAO, right?
Right.
But for just for the end user, he is like, oh, I'm going to join Orca DAO and Unique DAO and Monkey DAO and Mango DAO, right? And
Yep.
And then he will be just passive user. Now maybe you can call him once a month or whatever and say you need to vote on this 100%, if not we'll kick you out or whatever the case might be. This might not be the right approach. But if it's only like something super important, for example, we want to change the name of our DAO or whatever, other than that, you don't need to bother this guy, because actually the study shows that he will never engage as you kind of expected. So we are building this component where the DAOs will be curated, so they will have a leadership, more of a and we're trying to be as much as decentralized as possible, but we want to give ability to a curator to actually lead this club, just like in real life. You have a owner of the business, you have managers, and you have employees. So in the same way, a DAO should work, because if it's a full democracy, it's not sustainable long term.
Very interesting. I've loads of questions that I would like to ask on top of that. However, this AMA is done on Twitter Spaces, so we can open up the floor a little more and allow anybody who is tuning in to ask a question. If you do have something you'd like to ask the Unique crew, do just raise your hand in the Twitter space, and we'll let you take the floor and ask the question. Just in the meantime, as we open that up a little bit, Milan, have you got any questions for Unique Venture Clubs?
Hey guys. No, I thought that was really, really good overview. I think I'd be curious just on the items that you're building more tactically on the tooling side. Could you just talk a little bit more around that? So stuff like multi-sigs, or kind of what you're talking about, where it's like delegated voting to maybe one person who manages votes for a lot of people. What are some of like the tools that you guys are building around that for DAOs?
Yeah, this is a great question. So I cannot disclose, much on this aspect first because I'm not very technical person. I know what's going on, but from more of a security reasons and to be precise, we don't want to fully disclose what is coming. Since for our competitors will be easy to replicate this after the code they have this idea, we build the same thing, right? But on a high level, first I want to say that we are working very closely when it comes to governance alongside Sebastian from the SPO governance. He's a great guy. He's been very supportive. Our CTO, it's one of the main contributors there to the Solana SPO governance. We want to open source some of the stuff that we are building. For example, over the Prague Hacker House, we have built a tool that actually allows people to govern with their NFTs. And this is something similar to actually Monkey DAO built for themselves, but they didn't want to open source this. They just wanted to build that for internal use. And now we're thinking about to kind of open sourcing this thing. So this is one of a great example of our contribution and what tool we have built. But essentially, since Solana is a relatively new space, and for sure Ethereum ecosystem is well more developed on the tooling side, we are building a lot of things from scratch, which is good and bad. Obviously, takes more time and resources. But the most important thing is for us to bring a good on-chain governance, because we believe this is game changer, and this is the biggest difference between one of the main difference between Ethereum DAOs and Ethereum tools for DAOs versus Solana. It's on-chain governance because it's cheap and fast, right? And what this does, why it's so important, is because once you need to spend money and your DAO actually could decide if this should cost a Solana transaction or more, right? But even in case of one Solana transaction with 5 cents or whatever, psychologically, you are giving more thoughts and more kind of a weight on your decision. Because if it's just off-chain governance over Discord with thumbs up and thumbs down, I mean, I would just read maybe half of the sentence and I will say yes or no, right? But if I need to pull out my ledger, sign in and sign the transaction and spend even 5 cents, the whole process psychologically will make me get a little bit more deeper. And since this vault, it's on chain, and I cannot go back if I say no, and then in 5 minutes I change my decision and say yes. This is not possible. And in Discord and off-chain governance, this is quite possible, right? So first, we are building tools that will allow on-chain governance to go to the next level, because it's very, very important, actually, essential thing, and the let's say the core component of every DAO is the decision making, right? Now on the treasury side, our end goal, I would say, this is just to make let's say DAO analytic tools, nice dashboards where we track the DAO progress, what is the engagement, what is the TVL, and so on, because what this will allow is actually a very important thing, and this will totally change the whole crypto space, because then you can actually see you can give reputation based on that, right? So for example, you as DeFi protocol, you can say, oh, I mean, we'll integrate with you because you already have a lot of data and you can show us the quality users. We can see actually which DAO has quality users. For example, they have good performance, they hold, they're not just flippers or whatever. And this, especially for NFT collection and for like private raises. For example, if a new project comes out and say, oh, we fundraise, and now we actually want to fundraise from different investors, angels, DAOs. If there is a track record, on-chain record for them, they can pick actually top investors like this, quality investors, not because now what is the current situation is when you fundraise, you pick just on your gut feelings and some speculation. For example, Anderson Horowitz is one of the best VCs out there, right? And DeFi Digital and this and this and this one, right? And this is based on what? On off-chain, just speculations, right? But it's a real game changer actually if you see the quality of the user, and in this case the quality of the DAO, because what we think actually we want to achieve that. For example, imagine now every literally we have another investor, another VC popping out every single day. So and they're mostly weekend tier 2, tier 3 VCs, which they will just flip the token and they don't care, right? So this is what happens with those syndicate groups that they have paid allocations, whatever. We all know about those private Discord channels where you buy some tokens or whatever, and then you pull money together and buy a pre-sale of tokens, some project, and then you kind of flip after that. So those are type of the investors that they're very toxic for the space. And what our platform will allow is actually you can open such an investment club in our platform, but everything is on chain actually. And so we measure the quality of your club, and this gives you a bigger chance to kind of invest in more quality projects. And in general, another good example is I'll give an example with So Big Brain. He's a great guy, one of the biggest Solana whales. He's also one of our investors, great guy, very smart. So imagine if he come and open a club, and he can kind of get liquidity from his fans, right? From his followers now. And he raised $10 million fund to invest in NFTs, right? So he is a strong holder. He's a tier 1 quality investor, right? So what this will allow is he will collect the money from all of those end users that are, that has paper hands, but he will not sell this token in the next 2 years. And actually, if he decides that his club not going to have that much of a power over his decisions, since he's the professional there, right? He knows what he's doing. He will be way more efficient, and he will contribute way more to the space, because now he has this social component where his club has 1,000 users. They can retweet, they can like, they can share the post of this project, but he's holding the token and he's deciding. He has more power over when to sell this token, right? So we strongly believe this is the future, and new projects will start looking for quality investors. NFT projects will start looking for quality users, and this is what we actually want to achieve: is to have this data, this analytics, and when you show, oh, hey, my DAO, everything is on chain, you can see on the dashboard, I have perfect score, perfect reputation, let me invest, right?
Yeah, very interesting observation there with having everything on chain and making everything transparent, so the quality of the DAO can be assessed. We do have a question here from the real Aaron Morad. I'll just prove that in the space. Yeah, Aaron, if you're there, go ahead with your question.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah,
Cool. I have a couple of questions. Number one, you talked about the social aspect of things and actually bringing it into the DAO itself. One of the main mediums of communication right now is Discord. So do you feel like having this social aspect inside of Unique Venture Clubs is something that you should be able to pull off and pull users off of Discord? That's my first question.
Yeah, great question. So first, obviously, we're not going to have the functionality of on-chain chat or just any chat in our app, but this is something that we'll have in the future, because we really want to pull out the users out of Discord. For now, it's okay to have a Discord access, Discord level DAO, and some tools on top, in like separate app. But in long term, we want to integrate and have everything in one single DApp. Notifications, chat, documentations, just everything. Governance, treasury management, everything to be there.
Got it. My next question, is, when are people going to be able to try it out in person? You've been like sort of building in private, and so looking forward to knowing when people will be able to actually use the tools.
Very good question. So our private beta on DevNet is expected to happen around 4th of April. So around this date, obviously, if you have like a DevNet NFTs, DevNet tokens, and everything, you'll be able to beta test. And to be more realistic, towards end of April, I think we want to go after our audit, obviously, to go mainnet. And yeah, I mean, it's not very far. It's a month from now, maybe.
Excellent. So if I wanted to try out your DevNet, I should be able to. I do have a bunch of DevNet tokens and NFTs, so
yeah,
I guess
100%.
I see. Got it. My last question is about your universe NFTs. Have you decided on what role that is going to play?
Yeah, this is a great question. So we did started recently a DAO on top of this universe NFT collection. And what we wanted to do there, it's not define anything and let actually users figure all out, because for us, this is a great experiment and a great insights actually for the platform, right? We have our DAO on Discord level for now. It's just very simple. And we just recently started to figure out, how the treasury will be managed. We have now different layers of, users where, someone have actually ability to propose, the other one to vote, the other one just to chat, the other one just to observe what's going on, right? Based on how many NFTs they are currently holding in their wallets. We're looking forward to define some stuff and this DAO to be ready to migrate over our platform once we have it ready to use. I can say we have around 300 users in the DAO now, and they're very active, very cool guys. We just kind of promote a few councils, let's say, who will kind of manage the whole thing, and now it's up to them to figure all that out, what rules they want to implement when we open the platform and everything.
Thank you for all those questions, Aaron. That was very good indeed. Just opening the floor up again for more questions from those who tuned in. This is from avidlearner.sol. Avid, if you can hear us, if you just go ahead. Avid, are you there?
Yeah, hello. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Go for it.
So my question is, what the DevNet, is it open to the public or for only holders of Universe NFTs?
Yeah, the DevNet will be, we're still discussing that. So we're thinking, to be fully open, obviously, but you must have, DevNet tokens. Actually, what you can do now, it's if you go on our website, Unique.vc, you can apply for early access, and we're collecting the database, just email address, username, some questions, and actually we'll reach out back to you when it's about time to beta test. We will reach out to all of those people and try to onboard them, show them what features we have, and so on. So if you want to participate in this DevNet beta, make sure you fill out the form for early access at Unique.vc.
Great, thanks for the response.
Great stuff. I believe we have another question from Aaron, if you just want to go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I just had a follow-up question from my previous question. You very beautifully described about how you wanted the community to define the role of Universe NFTs and how they interact with the system. But sort of like, us as investors, I'd like to hear from you on what you intend to do to sort of raise the value of Universe NFT holders.
Yeah, great question. So first, now we gave them a budget to play with, so they can now even start, to purchase other NFTs or tokens or whatever they decide for their, treasury, and they can use those funds however they want, right? And our goal is to it's really experimental DAO, and this is the main reason for us, to really get a lot of insights from that, and that's why we are, experimenting a lot there. But the main, I would say, value to join this DAO, it's you'll be able to stake UNQ tokens on our platform, because only clubs actually who are active, who are engaging with the platform, they will be only one who have access to our staking rewards. I'm talking about single staking, not liquidity pool, and bunch of other things. And we actually want to give them like UNQ tokens in this treasury, so NFTs from our partners, so they have a lot of monetary value there already, and they can decide how to kind of distribute those money. So I think this is pretty straightforward.
Got it. And what's like the initial allocation? I'm curious. I'm on Discord, but I haven't, I guess, caught up to the news.
Oh, you mean the treasury right now?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, more announcements will follow up regarding the whole thing very, very soon. I would say today, tomorrow. Right now, there's like a bunch of NFTs. I don't know the exact count. We have 10 Solana there, but we're thinking to add more rewards. No, not rewards, more tokens and stuff like this very soon. And as I said, announcement will follow up very soon, maybe in the next 48 hours.
Got it. That's awesome. You also talked about a form that people could fill in order to participate in DevNet. Is that actually available on your Discord, or is that coming soon too?
Yeah, we have this form posted on Discord. We posted this in announcement channel like a day ago, and we'll make sure after every few days we kind of remind people we have this form.
Got it. Thank you.
Very good. We are getting on a little bit for time, folks, but as I say, we can carry on for at least 10 more minutes, I think. And if you do have questions for Unique Venture Clubs, do feel free to simply raise your hand in the Twitter space. I've another question I'd like to ask, if I may be so bold, Martin. And this is just regarding a comment you made earlier, where you said that a full-blown DAO does not exist, at least not yet. What do you mean by that, and what would a full-blown DAO actually look like?
Yeah, this is a great question. So a full-blown DAO for me, first, 100% should exist on-chain, right? And with that being said, there is no such a DAO yet, since there are no fully on-chain tools, for that in any chain out there. I'm not talking about only Solana, but even Ethereum. So this is the first thing, in order to make it fully decentralized, because this is the one of the core words in this abbreviation is decentralized, right? So to be fully decentralized, it needs to be on chain first and foremost. And I think that's why I said it doesn't exist yet. That means everything should be on chain. Not only the governance, all of the treasury management, and everything from A to Z, right? And we're not yet that's further developed to kind of accommodate in the blockchain space such organizations. But we'll get there. I think everyone is bullish on DAOs, and this is a question that I want to ask you. Are you guys planning to have a Orca DAO, or you personally to if you're part of some DAO, you might share your experience, or if you kind of I want to see your opinion on this topic.
Yeah, DAOs are obviously very fascinating, and indeed, as the existence of your project demonstrates, it's a very hot topic. It's something that a lot of people are very interested in, and of course, this is a big part of DeFi and the broader crypto space with decentralization. What is a decentralized autonomous organization? What does it really mean for a DAO to operate? What is true DAO behavior? It's always very fascinating. Here at Orca, the governance for Orca is something that is coming in the near future. We've obviously already done one governance vote with which charity gets the proceeds from our impact fund for our first donation for that. But broader governance is on the way. However, before we get to the governance section, there's one big step we want to do first. So there's a Medium article that we posted, the three steps to become the apex predator AMM. And the second step, which is what we're just about to do before governance, which is the third step, is to make our DEX much more capital efficient. And we're going to do that through concentrated liquidity on Orca, which we're calling whirlpools. So if you just go on, for anyone listening, if you go onto our Twitter page, you can see it's just pinned to the top is the announcement which we launched yesterday of whirlpools, which will be arriving very soon in Orca. Concentrated liquidity, which makes your liquidity provision much more capital efficient. And if you're a trader, if you want to simply make swaps, then it makes prices the price is much stronger. And by that I mean there's much less slippage when you're buying or selling tokens. So there's a lot less of the slippage costs associated with using DEX in general when there is concentrated liquidity. This is something very exciting. The Whirlpools beta will begin next week on the 23rd for our Orcanauts holders. And then after that, it will last 2 weeks. We shall open it up onto our mainnet. And then we'll get concentrated liquidity pools arriving on Orca much more broadly. After that, that's when we get to governance, which is going to be very exciting as well. As we've been discussing, there are so many different approaches to decentralized governance. And we're taking it very, very seriously. We don't want to make any mistakes. We don't want to rush into governance and set up a system that allows for, abuses in the short term, and something that can really allow Orca to sustain itself and endure for the long term, for the benefit of all of our podmates here at Orca. We haven't publicized too much of that, and in a way, we're still working it out. Some very interesting. It becomes a very philosophical question when you're setting up governance and governance systems. What is it that you actually believe in? What is it that you really want? We shall be releasing more information on that in due course. Though, of course, to begin with, we want to get whirlpools out there, and we're very, very excited to bring it forward. One thing I would like to ask you, Martin, which is along the same lines. You said earlier, democracy, pure democracy, is not what people want when they're using DeFi structures and when they're in crypto more broadly. Do you think there is another political existing political structure that you could refer to that you think people do want, like a republic, or do you think it's much more like a corporate structure, as you described earlier, where you've got a CEO, a board of directors, and employees?
Yeah, that's a great question. First, congratulations on what's coming. Sounds really good. And second, I saw that you, have the same kind of thought process and difficulties understanding the best, governance, kind of approach, which is really, our mission actually to make sure we have flexibility in our platform, right? So we can accommodate exactly different cases. So actually, I said full democracy. Actually, in the perfect world, most of the people, I don't want to say everyone, it's thinking that this is the right way, right? Everyone wants to be equal. They want to their opinion to be, hear loud and everything. But in reality, as I said, the engagement, even in the real world, for example, I am from a country where on elections, our participation in the election is below 30%.
Right.
I'm talking about the whole country. So this is a great example. I live in democratic country, and yeah, we see it doesn't work basically.
Right.
So I wouldn't use any political, terminology. I would say maybe it's more of a, the current structure of, well, maybe the US, how it operates, right? If you kind of look, they have different layers. You know, the president is above, but then if he wants to change something, this goes, you know, to 2 more layers actually. You know, when the court is involved and this and that, so a big filtration, right? It's not like very straight leadership where, oh, I want to change this and you know, it's changed. I mean, in real life, politicians, they use kind of different methods in order to make something happen, right? But in blockchain, this obviously it's not going to work since everything's on chain. You know, whatsoever, I think the more advanced DAOs figure out basically initially when they open, they say, okay, let's everyone decide, right? And then after 1-2 months, they say, okay, we're going to open sub DAOs, and one of the sub DAOs will take care of the you know, treasury management, accountant, you know, financial part. One of the sub DAOs will take care of the governance. One of the sub DAOs will take care of let's say operational stuff. One about HR and hirings and this and that. So basically, you pretty much in matter of few weeks, you realize, you know, full democracy and just a pool of people in one place deciding. Actually, it's not efficient at all, and you need to dedicate people who are experts in a field, or you know, who are passionate about something, and put them in this position and say, okay, you're going to be the council of this sub DAO. Now you know, you macromanage the other people that will decide about this you know, sub DAO, for example, right?
Right.
And this is maybe the right approach if you want to go like a full-blown DAO. Now our approach is similar to that, and we want to, for each sub DAO, let's say you're going to have a sub treasury, and you're going to define who is controlling this treasury. Well, how many people? Is it 2, 1, 3, 5, everyone? So yeah, maybe this is the only solution. And as I said in the very beginning, it's very like experimental space now. So no one really actually defined. What I think on a protocol level DAOs, the problem is that the developers are thinking, oh, but you know, I cannot let end users to decide on platform changes because you know, they don't know the business better than me, right? I mean, how you know, I'll make sure they're the right people to decide. And a great example, if you choose this governance where more tokens will give you more power, it's what the case with I think Uniswap was, that Anderson Horowitz, it's holding like 1/3 of, you know, the governance power, and basically they can decide what to happen with the platform. And I mean, how this is a DAO, how this is
Right.
let's say decentralized, right? I mean, it doesn't make sense for me personally, right? It makes sense for them, obviously. So yeah, this is very controversial topic, and that's why we just don't want to say anything. We don't want to make anyone think anything and give one model. We want to push on full flexibility, and people choose whatever they want. Let them figure out. We're just building the infrastructure level, the tooling, and we want to create you know, successful DAOs. And for success, it could be measured in different ways for different people, for different DAOs, and that's why they need to be flexible, and we need to be flexible on that.
Right. Yeah, it's a very interesting topic, and I agree. It is a very broad experiment. to be honest with you, I probably shouldn't have asked you the last question about democracies or republics, because the whole point of this technology is that this is something new. When they were coming up, when the words republic and democracy were being defined, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have blockchain technology, which facilitates all this stuff. What we're doing is creating something quite different. So we should really be using new words rather than trying to sort of shoehorn older words and older definitions to try and suit these, because then, of course, it brings all of the existing biases from the political world into DeFi, which is not what everyone wants. It's a broad, new experimental place, and people are going to find out what works ultimately, and it'll be very interesting to see which strategies work for which projects, which communities, and how that shapes the future DeFi and the future DAO space. We are getting on a little bit for time now, Martin. This has been a fascinating conversation. Could you tell everybody who is tuning into this Twitter space how they can find out more about Unique Venture Clubs?
Yeah, thank you. So I think the first thing is they should go on to our website, Unique.vc. It's pretty easy to remember. They can learn more on our Discord, to follow our Twitter, Telegram. We recently opened more social medias, and we'll start uploading some content there as well. What I wanted to say, it's coming, something big is coming, and it's related to Orca, and this is that we soon are going to announce actually a big prize pool. We want to reward extra the people who will participate in the in the next 30 days. We'll announce the exact day, start and end date very soon, and actually we want to reward those people with extra rewards. So we'll be giving away quite expensive NFTs, as well as our own NFTs, our legendary NFT rare. We'll be giving away some fungible tokens, and we're thinking of one Solana monkey business, which costs over 10-12K right now. So make sure you follow, and soon you'll be able to see what are the rules in order to participate for those for this prize pool, but will be related to the Orca liquidity pool. And just I want to say to thank everyone for the support. If I see people from our community here on the call, we have great community. We're very, very happy that we chose first Solana as ecosystem. Everyone is just great, and yeah, I mean we're excited to see where this journey will take us. And we want to build for the DAO revolution. We believe strongly in this. So we also have open positions. We're hiring. This is very important. You can find in their career page. We're looking for more developers, for content writers, for designers. So make sure you check this out if you want to start your crypto career. Let's say that way. And yeah. Thanks for the invite. It was really a pleasure for me.
Well, thanks for coming on. Very exciting indeed. If you do want to start your crypto career with Unique Venture Clubs, do check them out and give them a follow on Twitter. I think it's Unique.vc is the handle. And of course, on Orca, we do have the UNQ, the Unique Venture Clubs token, listed on our aqua farms. So if you do hop onto orca.so, you can swap or deposit liquidity into the liquidity pool for UNQ. Thanks for everybody who has tuned in to this Twitter space. It is good to host these and learn a little more about some of the projects that we have listed on Orca. Very interesting stuff from Unique Venture Clubs, and the great observations on the DAO ecosystem, the evolving nature of DAOs in general. Some very interesting stuff as well. So thank you to everybody from the Unique side. This was very good indeed. We shall be back with another of these Twitter Spaces next week. But that's all for the moment, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Thanks for your time. Bye-bye.